Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're testing out this Dark Tactical Naginata in addition to some of the other weapons we just added to the KarateMart.com website. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week we tested out some of the newest weapons we recently added to the KarateMart.com website. And then I asked you to go to the community tab and vote for which one you like best. And you guys went to the community tab and voted for the Rugged Combat Bowie Knife. Excellent choice, guys. I absolutely love this knife. It definitely reminds me of something from Rambo, and it's built just so well. You can see just how thick that steel is there, so excellent choice. But before we begin today, I just want to go through some of the comments that you guys left on our YouTube channel this last week. So the first one I have is from a guy named Magus Habilis. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Some of these names are very difficult to pronounce, but I think I got it right. So Magus Habilis says, I own one of those Bowies. I put mine through major abuse, splitting kindling, cutting up game, pounding in tent pegs, and finally, after I got home, cutting up a solid foam mattress, all without even sharpening. As a former knife maker, I can testify, this is one to bet your life on. I mean, that is quite the endorsement, so I really appreciate that, Magus Habilis. Awesome job leaving a comment like that. All right, and then next we had the same comment left by two different people, from Psychotic Genius and Hudson Chapman 6177. They both said that the hidden blade knuckles remind me of a bear claw. Okay, let's just check this thing out. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Does that not look like a bear claw? What a good way to describe it. I mean, let's just test this thing out really quick. Oh man, that just... Look how much that just digs right into that Wing Chun dummy. I mean, that works just like a bear claw. So that is a great way to describe it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. And then last, we had a comment from Superior Lumbago 9260. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that. And he said, he sure puts his blood and sweat into the videos. We can pass on the tears. No one needs those. And you are so right. I do put my blood and sweat into these videos, but this is not Wimpy Mart. This is KarateMart, so you're never gonna see tears from me on these videos. So excellent comment. I really do appreciate that. But at the end of this video, please go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best. And as always, there's links in the description of the video so you can find out more information on each of these products. But without further ado, let's go on to our very first item. All right, and our very first weapon is the Dark Dual Blade Knuckles. All right. Okay, so first off, we can see that they come with this nylon case. It's not the most heavy-duty nylon case. I'm just going to throw that out there. But it is going to protect your blade a little bit, and it does have a belt loop on there, so we could hang it from the side of our body if we wanted to. But we don't really care about the case. Let's go ahead and check out the blade. All right. Now that is strange looking, right guys? I mean, this is just a little bit weird. First off, we can tell that this is made completely from a 440 stainless steel, and that includes the body and the blades on this thing. So we're gonna need to really test this out to make sure that it can actually hold up to some abuse. So the first thing I kind of notice on this thing is these vicious looking teeth on the knuckles themselves. But we can also see that on the back of the frame, there's this kind of hole and space back there. So when we're holding these, I don't think we're gonna be able to hold them in a swiping fashion because that's just gonna dig into my hand. I think we're going to actually have to hold them like we're punching with them. So let's go ahead and start out by just testing that to see if this hurts my hands by using these things. So I got the Wing Chun dummy over here. Okay, I mean, it dug in a little bit into my fingers, but I mean, overall, I can strike pretty well, and you can see that those teeth are just digging into that Wing Chun dummy. I'm going to try it in a swiping fashion just to see if that hurts at all. Actually, that didn't really hurt at all. That actually felt pretty good. Yeah, and that's actually taking off a lot of wood. But that's not the cool thing about these. These things actually have dual blades on the sides of the knife. I mean, look at that. That's pretty sweet, right? I mean, that makes a very interesting looking blade. Let's go ahead and test this out a little bit, because the first thing I notice is I've got this jimping up here so I can get really good control on the blades of this thing. So I could use this in kind of like a slash like that, but I could also use this on, oh shoot. Okay, it kind of dug in a little bit and pulled the Wing Chun dummy. I'm going to put my foot on it so that doesn't happen again. Yeah, so it can dig in with both sides. One thing I kind of think about with this thing, though, is if I was to actually use this for combat purposes, I would personally take this one blade and kind of put it down. And then I would use it like a trench knife. So I've got my jimping up here so I can actually slash in like that. I can actually strike with this thing like that. And then if I need hammer strikes, I can use that just like that. So that actually stuck in there pretty well just for hammer strikes. So now, Amanda, what do you think of this thing? I'm just kind of curious what you think and how your hand fits it.
I mean, this honestly looks a bit crazy to me. If anything, it kind of reminds me of something like from Star Trek or something.
Were you a big Star Trek fan?
Not as much as Star Wars, but yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, let's try it with both.
Oh yeah, so when you're trying it with both, are both blades kind of sticking in? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of sweet.
It didn't really hurt my hands at all either.
Okay, so you're actually hitting the middle of it and striking both blades in at the same time. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I guess I'll see what it's like for me punching. I don't know how that's going to be.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I mean, that hurts a little bit for me, but also for me, since my hands are a little bit smaller, it's kind of not as much like, you have less room in there for it to move.
Yeah.
I have a little bit more space because my like smaller hands. But it doesn't hurt too bad.
It looks like it's fairly comfortable for you. Okay, cool. And then some other things I noticed on this is that the blades have very secure liner locks on them, holding the blades in place. Now, if we look at the general layout of this knife knuckle duster combo thing, we can tell that it's got a lot of venting in it, which is nice because it takes a little bit of weight off the weapon, and it gives it kind of a cool skeletal design, right, Mel? And that's pretty neat. And then also, if we look at the blades, we can see that these are combo edge blades. They've got the plain edge here, which is really sharp. The tip is extremely sharp, but then we also have the serrated section here, which I could almost not even call that serrated because that looks like giant teeth to me, doesn't that? I mean, that's like, and those are sharp points too, so that's pretty cool. The overall length of the blades are approximately 2 inches each. When this thing is open, it's approximately 9¼ inches. When we close it, it's approximately 8 inches, and the total weight is approximately 6.7 ounces. But one thing I do want to mention is that you need to check your local laws on this thing because it is technically a knuckle duster weapon, and you do not want to get in trouble for having something like this. But that's about all I have to say about that, so I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the Spiked OTF Knuckle Knife. Awesome, awesome. We've been showing off a lot of OTF knives lately, and I absolutely love them. For those of you who don't know, OTF stands for out the front, which means that the blade can actually eject and retract very, very quickly. But let's take a look at this one. So first off, we can see that it comes with this really nice nylon case. And this isn't some cheap case. This is actually a really nice, heavy-duty, kind of soft nylon case. But you guys don't care about that. You just want to see the blade itself. So let's go ahead and open this up and check this thing out. I love it. I absolutely love it. So first off, we can see that the casing on this thing is made from a zinc aluminum. And then we also have this carbon fiber inlay in it, which gives it a really nice stealthy look. And then we can see that it has these steel spikes on there and then this steel glass breaker on the end. These spikes are always interesting to me. They kind of remind me of the Cobra knife from the 1980s movie, which I'm always a little concerned that they're not going to hold up very well, so we're definitely going to need to test those out. But one thing I kind of noticed about this is that it's got this really nice glass breaker here, and we also have this jimping here. So if we did not want to use this as a knife, we actually have really good control here to use this for pressure points or additional strikes. So I do like the placement of this little glass breaker. I think that's pretty neat. Now, before we open the blade on this thing, I actually want to test these little spikes out to see if they're going to hold up. So let's go ahead and just strike the Wing Chun dummy a little bit. I'm going to hold this in a punching fashion first because that actually feels really comfortable to me. Oh yeah, that actually felt really comfortable. And that's digging right into there. Those spikes are not getting hurt at all. It looks like it's going to hold up very, very well for you. Also, for hammer strikes, I mean, that's just taking off the side of this Wing Chun dummy. So that little glass breaker there is going to be an excellent weapon in itself. But you guys don't care about that. You want to see the blade on this thing. So let's go ahead and test that out. Boom! Oh, I love that. That blade looks so awesome. Clearly, that's a spear point blade. Both sides are very sharp. The tip is very sharp. The manufacturer was not able to tell us what type of steel this is. They just said that it was some sort of stainless steel. We've seen a lot of AUS 8 stainless steels lately. We've seen a lot of 440s, a lot of 3CR13s, so it could be any one of those. Sometimes I can tell, but because of the blue finish on this blade, it's very difficult to tell what type of stainless steel that is. But we need to test that out a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and strike in there. And look at that, just stuck in really, really nicely. Let's make sure that blade holds up just fine. Look at that, looking great. Let's stab it a few more times because as you guys know with OTF knives, there's always a chance that the blade is gonna come off the rails if it's not a very good OTF knife. So we need to test this out to make sure it's gonna hold up. All right, I'm just gonna do this kind of stab right here. Boom. I mean, I am really stabbing that thing in and look at that, perfect. Perfect. I love this thing. I think this is awesome. So we can also see that this does have a really nice heavy duty steel belt clip on there, but I want to see Amanda actually test this thing out because it's fun to watch to see what she does with these different weapons. So Amanda, here you go. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty nice.
So it's not too stiff on her hands.
No,
okay.
Definitely not.
All right.
And let's try stabbing with it, I guess. I mean, yeah. Really easy to stick in, so.
Very nice.
I guess I have to use it in a punching fashion. Let's see. Okay, this one's actually really comfortable. That's not hurting my hands at all.
I noticed that too. I didn't have to swipe with it or anything. It just feels good when you're holding it in a fist fashion.
For me, I guess this almost feels like a rubberized coating, even though it's zinc aluminum. It just makes it feel very comfortable as well, just this area right here. But overall, I really like this one. Yeah, I think it works really nicely.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so the blade length on that is approximately 3.5 inches. The closed length is approximately 5 3/8 inches. The open length is approximately 9 inches. And the total weight is approximately 9.8 ounces. So that is a really nice weight for this OTF knife. A couple things I want to mention though is this is only available on combative.com. KarateMart.com is more geared towards martial arts supplies. Combative.com is more geared towards tactical equipment and OTF knives. So check out combative.com if you want to check out our OTF knives. And then one other thing I want to mention is check your local laws because this is not only a trench knife, this is also an OTF knife and a knuckle duster. So check your local laws because you just want to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But that's about all I have to say about this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the Dark Tactical Naginata. Check this thing out. So first off, we can see that it's got a really nice rubberized thermoplastic sheath on it. So that's going to provide plenty of protection for your blade. But you guys don't care about that. Let's actually check out the blade itself. All right, look at that. Look at that blade. That is absolutely beautiful. Couple things I noticed right off the bat is first off, this is made from a 2CR13 stainless steel, but it's been heat treated for extra hardness and strength. So this thing is going to hold up for you very, very nicely. We can also see that it does have a two-toned finish on here. So we do have this black finish here that's actually going to give you more corrosion resistance on your blade. The other thing I noticed right off the bat on this thing is it's got a really nice Tonto style tip on this. So the thing that's so cool about that is we can use this as a naginata, but we could also use this as a spear because that tip is super sharp and it gives us a good point for spearing. So let's just go ahead and try this on the Wing Chun dummy really quick. I mean, that's got pretty good balance there. And then also, before I try it, you can see that it's got some really nice grip lines on here, so I can hold it kind of in the center. I can also hold it at the end there. And then look at the ergonomics up here. If I want added control on this thing, just hold it right up there. So, boom! Oh, geez, did you see that wood just split off of that? I mean, this Wing Chun dummy's bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
wow.
huge chunks.
That's pretty awesome. That tip is still super sharp, so very, very cool. But let's actually try spearing with this thing. All right, everybody out of the way. Okay, see, look at that. That thing, look how far that dug into the Wing Chun dummy. That thing's in, I don't even know if I can pull this thing out. All right, here we go. Okay, oh yeah. The other thing I love about this weapon is that it has a nylon fiber handle to it that's been reinforced by a steel rod. So this nylon fiber handle is actually going to hold up extremely well for you. And then if we look at the tang on this thing, we can see that the blade goes down about that far into that third screw there. So that gives it plenty of space to hold the blade onto there very, very securely. I actually want to try slashing with this thing a little bit. I'm going to throw on my safety glasses really quick because I want to make sure I don't get any splinters in my eyes. But let's go ahead and slash with this thing a little bit. Oh yeah, I mean, that thing's, oh yeah, this is going to do a lot of damage. So I think this is just an amazing weapon. Amanda, why don't you go ahead and give it a whirl real quick?
I guess we'll see how this works. Okay. First, I guess I'll start with stabbing. I mean,
yeah.
For me not being able to be that strong compared to you.
Do you want to try throwing it from across the room?
No.
Okay, okay. We'll try slashing with it a little bit.
Okay. I mean,
nice,
yeah.
Nice. That sticks in really, really well. I mean, that blade, let's see how sharp that thing is. Oh, wow, that is an extremely sharp blade. I mean, I knew the tip was sharp, but that blade is extremely sharp. So I'm really liking this. And you can tell that it's been heat treated really well, so that's going to hold up just wonderfully. Now, the blade length is approximately 8 inches. The total length of this weapon is approximately 44.5 inches. And the total weight is about 1 pound, 15 ounces. So that is an awesome weight for this weapon. But at the end of this video, please go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best this week. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out KarateMart.com because we've got all sorts of awesome weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.